you so much, Lisa. And as we delve deeper into what we can expect out in the world of sport this weekend, I am joined by Khanyiso Tshwaku. He is, of course, a News 24 senior sport journalist, also doubles up as a SABC sport analyst as well as commentator. Khanyiso, very good morning to you. It's interesting weather out in Johannesburg, but somewhere else where we are expecting interesting weather is where the Proteas men are currently taking on India. Let's speak to how big this test is for South Africa, because it's a historic venue which we haven't visited in a long time.
Yes, indeed. Good morning, V, and good morning to the viewers. Look, I mean, after 7 over, South Africa 31-4 crucially, they won the toss, selected to bat. No Kaksurabada, Deval Previs also out, so Vian Mulders in. Coben Bosch is playing, Sinrin Mutusami is not playing. So look, I mean, remember that Kolkata was South Africa's first site of ODI cricket back in 1991. They played that very painful semi-final in 2023 against Australia. They won there in 1996. Gary Kirsten making those 200s, Lance taking 8 wickets. So look, and so far they won the toss. Critical thing to do in India, winning the toss, batting first. It's going to ask different questions of this very good Indian side in their conditions. But I think the first part, winning the toss, batting first, pretty much they just need to stick to what's been working for what worked for them in the second test against Pakistan. But South India are a much better side than Pakistan, though.
And I mean, we look at it and many say it's a venue that will be very giving in terms of the spinners, but that could work out around day 3. But a test can be won in the first 3 days also.
Look, you could lose a test in the session. You could actually have a difficult session in the first day, and then you have to find your way back. I mean, India will know this better than anyone else. When they played against New Zealand in Bangalore last year, they had a terrible first session, and it ended up costing them the series. So I think it becomes important for South Africa just to set up a stable base through the first day. I think India will have learned from, especially the last 2 tests against India in New Zealand last year, where they lost in Pune and in Mumbai on ranked turners. They'll realize that foreign teams, when they travel, may not have their quality of spinners, but their spinners on their day will be very effective, the same way AJ Patel and Mitchell Satner were in those 2 test matches.
Let's move and now start talking football, because we've got Amajimbos as well as Bafana to look forward to this weekend. Let's start with Amajimbos. Not the ideal preparation ahead of the Under-17 FIFA World Cup, but historic in that they've made it to the knockout stages. Let's talk to their matchup against Japan in the round of 32.
Look, it's going to be a difficult game. They qualified second out of the group, but I think the most important part for Vela Kumalo's side is that they just need to be clinical in front of goal. If you go back and you look at their game against Qatar in particular, they had a multitude of chances that they didn't bury. I mean, even in the Italy game, they had an opportunity to actually make sure they not walk the game, but capitalize on opportunities. If you look back at that Bolivia game, they were magnificent in that Bolivia game. They had 4 clear goal-scoring opportunities. They scored 3. And in knockout games, you don't want to leave goal-scoring opportunities begging. So I think with tomorrow's game in particular, they need not change what has actually worked for them through the tournament. But I think with the research put in regarding the opponent, they just need to be clinical in front of goal.
Give me your quick thoughts on Bafana Zambia.
Look, I think it's an important game in that it is a preparation, the last preparation game before AFCON. It's going to be interesting to see which combinations Hugo Bros puts out. I'd probably love to see one of Ricardo Costa or Sipochen actually getting a start. I mean, we know what Ronald Williams can do. So I think if Hugo's able to shake up the combinations and see what he puts out on the field, because we know what the starting 11 is. I think the key part, let's see what the depth can do. Then if there is a bit of a tricky situation, then bring on the normal players, the normal starters.
And of course, we know the Springboks will be in action as well against Italy. How do you see them faring out against a side that recently beat the Wallabies, and what are your expectations for that one?
Never changes. Never changes. Marco van Staden starting at 8 will double up as a hooker when Johan Grobler comes off. It's a big gamble of the dice. I mean, look, Italy may feel slightly disrespected that the Boks are using them as their experimental test. But look, I mean, you have to give players an opportunity, and this is a game. I mean, if you look at the center combination, Ethan Hook and Kenan Moody at 12 and 13, that's going to be very exciting to watch. I mean, Jean Klein getting a started for Bonfinte, getting another opportunity again at Lucid Prop. So look, 11 changes. Look, also I'm happy with the venue. For once, they haven't pushed South Africa to your Genoa. Genoa is a very old city, very nice city, but I mean, for once they're playing in a big city like Turin at the Allianz Stadium. So look, I mean, 11 changes, it's a big gamble by Rasi, but if it pays off, who knows, it sets up the scene for next week's test against Ireland in Dublin.
All right, I've got 30 seconds left. Your quick thoughts on Cameroon not getting an opportunity to fight for a place in the World Cup, being knocked out by DRC yesterday.
Well, look, Samuel Eto'o, he's going to have a tough time justifying why he's president, because when you're president, you have to justify getting into a FIFA World Cup. So look, it's a deflating defeat for them.
All right, very interesting times in the world of football, and I mean we are speaking about a Cameroon side that will not make this edition of the World Cup. This is actually a side that Khanyiso has been at almost 8 World Cups, if I'm not mistaken, the most representation from an African point of view. Yeah,
you look at 1994. I mean, they were Africa's first group, the team that made the knockouts back in 1990. Didn't do themselves justice in 1994, but they've been regulars. You look back at the work at the Olympics. You look at you try to picture a World Cup without Cameroon, but it also shows the changing face of African football. I mean, look at Cape Verde going to a World Cup. I mean, they've got a population that's smaller than Johannesburg. They're going to a World Cup. So look, I think every country will go through a cycle. I mean, Nigeria, for example, have always been regarded as a powerhouse in African football. They have to take the detour. South Africa played a significant role in keeping Nigeria out of direct World Cup qualification. So I think it's always difficult to see a big team not making a World Cup, but also it is also relative to the investment and the cycles that countries go through from a football development perspective.
All right, and that's how we'll wrap it up for now. Of course, that final will be taking place between Nigeria and DR Congo on Sunday to see which African nation will then go into the intercontinental playoffs. So this is not where it ends. But we did put out a sport question of the day for you this morning, and we would like to know, what is your message of support for South Africa's Amajimbos ahead of their clash against Japan and the round of 32 out at the FIFA Under-17 World Cup? Share your thoughts with us at Morning Live SABC on X. You can use that hashtag Morning Live, and of course you can send through your voice notes to us. That's where we'll leave it for now.